Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews with our first weekly tech and hardware show. I know it's a bit of a weird name, but what the hell, let's just do it. The idea is that every week I will talk about the 5 most interesting or most important tech product releases, and I'll give my own opinion on it and some thoughts on it without really doing a review. And then the idea is that whatever you guys comment, I will try to get a review sample on, because that's what's going to be interesting to you guys, so I really know what you want to see in the reviews. So our first news item is KFA2 and Galax announced the SNPR GTX 1060 external graphics. Now, external graphics is one of those things that gets thrown around an awful lot because it's important and it's going to turn tiny little lightweight laptops into gaming machines, and it looks like KFA2 and Galax actually have a very small, compact but powerful system. Now, what's really nice is inside of it is a GTX 1060, but as you can see, it also comes with some extras. So you have your video outputs, a Thunderbolt port, pass-through, and it has a custom cooling design, which helps make it super tiny. I really like that because a lot of those larger boxes from Asus and even the Razer box and the Gigabyte box and all the other Thunderbolt 3 docks, they're huge, and something like this can make it a bit more compact. As you can see, it's super compact actually. Now, the weird thing is they made it look horrible. Like, this looks like a 20-year-old cassette player or DVD player. It just looks absolutely horrible, but that's just my 2 cents on this. Looking at the actual specs, it looks like the clock speeds are really nice, so hopefully it won't thermal throttle, although no way to say that for sure without actually testing it. There's an external 230 watt power brick, so you have an external brick. I'm not a big fan of those, but again, whatever. The big issue with this device, in my opinion, is the €500 asking price. 500 euros for a 1060 is just an awful lot of money, especially for something that looks this ugly, and makes it probably a really weird thing to buy, because you can probably just get a Thunderbolt dock and the GPU, and then you can upgrade later on, whereas with this thing you can't possibly update later on or upgrade later on. Our next item is again to do with laptops. I couldn't really find any proper desktop PC news this week, so it's again got to do with laptops, and it's the Core i9 series making it to the mobile stuff. So IDA64 has a bit of an update going where it actually says identification of Core i9 8000H, and it a bit further along says also something about processor number detection for those i9s for laptops. Personal thoughts is that these laptop i9s aren't really going to be worthy of the name i9, because Intel has this super confusing naming scheme, and so the Core i9s are going to be 6 cores. It's really weird what Intel's doing with their naming scheme. I wish they just took to the 3, the 5, and the 7, which would make way more sense, but they're going i9 now, and they're even doing it on laptops, and it's going to just be a 6 core, not a 12 core. So yay Intel. The next bit of news has to do with AMD, and I'm not going to say yay AMD because it's actually a custom card from SFX, or XFX, sorry. Now, there are a lot of custom cooler Vega cards, but XFX has the first custom PCB Vega card. And what's really interesting about it, other than the horrible design, is that they made the PCB super tiny. As you can see in this picture here, the PCB itself is, from what I'd say, 16, 17 centimeters long tops. But the cooler overhangs massively. It comes with this dual fan cooler, and the power connectors are dual 8-pin, and they exit from the center. So the power connector has to go in between that little cutout and this X-looking cooler. It's horrible looking, almost as horrible looking as that external GPU we looked at, but this is just super tacky. Not only do we get red fans, we also get silver accents and carbon fiber look. It is super tacky looking. I wish they just put a stylish cooler on it, but the interesting bit about this tech release is that it is a custom Vega card, unlike what Asus is doing with the Strix card, which is just a custom cooler on there. And this could be interesting to water cooling guys, because again, the PCB is super short, so you can get a tiny little water block on there and perhaps use it in a super powerful ITX system. continuing with GPU related news, this is actually our third GPU related topic already. The FSP 2000A0AGPBI. It's a really long name for a really long power supply. It's a 20 centimeter long power supply. It's 2000 watts and it's aimed basically at cryptocurrency miners. Why do I mention this thing? Because obviously not a lot of people care all that much about the mining aspect. If companies are going to make power supplies specifically for cryptocurrency mining, hopefully we can see prices lower on the stuff that you and I gamers would buy. So the high wattage gaming power supplies will hopefully lower in price because demand goes down, because FSP now has a 2000 watt power supply for cryptocurrency miners. It's actually a really interesting product. Now, the way they describe it is for standard advanced workstation server and industrial power systems. And so that's basically cryptocurrency miner. It has 16, 6 plus 2 pins, 16. So that's 8 GPUs. That's bonkers, really. And so that's why it made it into our top 5 this week. And then last but not least, to finish off this show, there's the Gigabyte Aorus K9 optical mechanical gaming keyboard. We all love our mechanical switches, and optical switches are apparently even better. And so Gigabyte's Aorus brand now has optical switches on a keyboard with full RGB support. They promise a 0.03 millisecond debounce time. So that's the speed between you pressing and the button coming back up again. It's flash proof. You can swap the switches. Shatterproof, so that's when a button is at the actuation point and it starts registering double. Super handy. Again, full RGB and key rollover, a floating key design, braided cable, cable management, all that sort of stuff. It actually looks pretty okay. Comes with these FlareTech optical switches. And apparently it's 600 times faster than a traditional switch, and they also have some fun animations and all that stuff. Now here's the interesting bit. Up to 10 million keystrokes. That's a lot of keystrokes. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my Sherry MX switches or my Razer Green switches, they have 50 and 60 million keystrokes rated, of course. Who the hell is going to press a button 100 million times? I'll actually put my Black Widow Chroma heat map on there with all the games of all time that I've played. I think I'm going to get to 1 million maybe, and I've owned this keyboard for 3 years. So that's 300 years that this keyboard will last if I were to use it. That's a really interesting claim to end this show with. Now guys, this was obviously just a first episode. So if in the future there are things you want to see changed about the format, do I make stuff longer? Do I make it shorter? Less of my opinion or more of my opinion? All that sort of stuff, let me know in the comments below, because that's what I'm really interested in, looking forward to seeing, and all that. That was a really weird sentence, wasn't it? Anyway, the whole idea is that I take the interesting bits. You guys let me know what you like most. And if I can get a few comments on this Aorus K9 optical keyboard, for example, I can ask Gigabyte for a review sample, and that way I can make video reviews about products that you guys really care for. That's the whole point of the weekly tech and hardware show. Anyway guys, massive thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram, to the Patreons up there. I also want to say a massive thanks. Stuff looks lit right here. That's 2 softboxes, another 2 softboxes, an overhead softbox, and I got this backlight going on as well. Love it. Great microphone quality, great image quality. I know I'm recording this with OBS on the Surface, so the screen capture isn't really looking all that well yet. I'm going to have to find a solution for it, but I'm really short on time this week, so my apologies for that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and all your comments, opinions, ideas, go in the description below. Cheers!